I have grave concerns here at Friedrichsfeld, Zentralfriedhof, the central cemetery of East Germany. So this is East Berlin, and a lot of East German dignitaries and socialists are buried out here. See some bees already on the left. They don't look too active. They sure have a lot of them. So the odds of me finding very much out here feel slim. It's a really large cemetery, pretty forested, as you can maybe see already. And there's no maps whatsoever, no help. And there was a map of the cemetery, but it was just showing all of the different plot sections. Nothing labeled in particular. So I think this is just going to be a long walk through the woods. And we'll see what we'll see. This is kind of nice over here on the right. Pretty sculpted. Beautiful trees. Benches. Definitely a good hiking spot. And it's kind of a gray day here in Berlin once again. It's been kind of a cool month for June. It's in the 60s. And the rest of Europe is kind of baking. We've got this wave of air from Scandinavia that's come down, and it's making it quite windy. And it's been raining, and just kind of on occasion. Not like a steady rain, so I've always got my umbrella and my jacket. And then I'm overheating when the sun pops out. It's a mix. As usual, we can see the canteens for watering are out, the little troughs for supplying water. They're always pretty good about that, these German cemeteries. Lots of people have their family plots with flower gardens on the graves. Come to water them. Just wanted to take a look at this one. I can't really read it, but it just has an interesting look to it. Maybe I'll get off the beaten path over there, because that's just kind of leading me down the trail where I'm not seeing very much. Not as sculpted or beautiful as the Südwestkirchhof, where the Netflix Dark Cemetery and Church, Southwest Church, are located. At least not yet. But not bad looking, I have to say. These trees are pretty nice. It's a different place, different feel, kind of standard looking. And other than these kind of East German dignitaries and important socialists, there's not too many known people out here. But then, that's also part of the whole East German thing. I like this kneeling statue. The thing being just the importance of the worker and their role in the egalitarian society. So when you see places of old East Berlin in the city, you'll see these big palatial apartment complexes that were meant to reflect the dignity of the workers. But by today's standards, they're all, of course, very modernist and without ornament. But they're extensive. They have, big courtyards and They have nice balconies. They're decent apartments to this day. They're still pretty good places to live. Spacious. Good for raising a family and building community, but not super beautiful to look at necessarily unless you like the stripped down modernist aesthetic. And so this cemetery, well, I think it's, kind of botanically beautiful, is not really landscaped like any kind of an old romantic place. And I'm not really sure if this place has very old graves. I think this is going to be more of a 20th century cemetery. I just see an interesting stone out here, one of these stones with a hole in it, which I always seem to find interesting because they have different materials in the holes. Gold leaf, glass. Let's see what this one has. I love the color on this one. Okay. 1936 to 2022. Hammerschmidt. And then this is fairly new. So this one has glass in the hole, but it's entirely blocked up. My Moonlight Naja Marine. Nice. Now I'm seeing some uniform graves out here, which usually indicates some kind of war section, war memorial. Let's see what we got out here. Not necessarily, though. A lot of visitations on these. A lot of these have stones on top. No, these are just uniform and recent. 1929 to 2019. It must have some other designation. These people have something in common. Getting a little variety in here now anyway, just in terms of the layout. I haven't seen another person in here yet, outside of groundskeepers, as usual, midweek. Let's see. Beautiful emerald green. Wow, there's a lot of these uniform stones. I guess that's just the style. Even though these people, at least the ones I just saw, were dying well after the end of East Germany. 89, the wall came down. 90, reunification. Or was that 91? I always forget exactly how that transpired, even though I was around at the time. I know the wall was in November of 89. And then it probably took, well, it was at least a year, if not two, for reunification. But that's a debacle. Of course, all of this touches on the politics of the Cold War in West and East Germany and how that all went down. The East Germans didn't have any leverage. Once the wall came down, that was it. They lost any leverage they had to negotiate with the West Germans as far as how things would transition. And a lot of people lost a lot of money. Of course, the economy in East Germany was relatively depressed compared to West Germany. So you had people earning very little money. And the currency, of course, is getting devalued and officially exchanged with Deutschmarks at the time. Or I forget which was which. There were Reichsmarks and Deutschmarks. I forget who had what and which way it went. And of course, now it's all on the euro. But there was a lot of valuable property in East Germany. Factories, large buildings, everything was state-owned. And that had to transfer to somebody, and a lot of investors, foreign and domestic, industrialists came in, swooped in, and got a lot of property for a song. And on top of it all, the East German way of life and ideologies and all of that was, the culture was overrun by the West Germans. And there's still a lot of resentment to this day. And to some degree, that's why you see the AfD, which is the far right in current German politics, does much better in old East Germany because there's a lot of resentment there, and a lot of those people feel like they have nothing to lose and they want to see it all burned down. So there are consequences for having forsaken the East Germans. So they're still struggling essentially to reunify in a somewhat uniform way. Here's another one of the stones with the holes in it, but besides that, the stone itself is beautiful. It has this polished material with a nice blue quality in it. Frank Milker, 2021. So some interesting color stones out here already. So in any case, that's been 35 years now since the fall of the wall. And the architect of the wall is in here. Hopefully we're going to find him. I'm thinking these people are all going to be in a relatively similar area. That's Ulbricht is in here. And he's actually, when you say the architect, of course, it's no great feat of architecture. It's not a beautiful design. And when I say he's the architect of it, I mean that he is the one who wanted the wall built and pressured the Kremlin. Moscow didn't actually want to build the wall, but people were coming in back and forth, of course, between East and West, and it was screwing up the economy even further. Getting a little trickle of rain here. It goes to the left just because it's a loud construction vehicle there. And actually I'm seeing some more monumental graves out here, so we'll check this out. So yeah, they built a wall around West Berlin. It was, I've mentioned this in other videos, that it was inside of East Germany. And so that wall was built to keep the East Germans out of West Berlin, keep them out of their markets, but of course it divided families. So the East Germans didn't have freedom of movement. If you were in West Berlin, you could fly out of West Berlin and go to anywhere in Western Europe. You were in the Western world. But if you were in East Germany, you had restrictions on where you could travel to. Not sure what this monolithic stone is about. These rains lately, they're like Florida. They just kind of come and go quickly. A couple of folks walking by here. So, who do we have here? This is quite a monumental looking stone. Wilhelm Grass, 1858 to 1914. So maybe a World War I figure, but it would have been quite old, so... well, not that old, really. 55, but not exactly a young fighter. little parking lot here. That's strange. Okay, this is interesting. They have like street signs for people of note. Herman Machtig, Axel Fintelman. Okay, so the socialists' monument is this way. So let me keep going this way. Gunther Kadow, 2007. Nice kind of rustic stone. And he's got a little ginkgo biloba plant, a metallic one on the stone. That's interesting. Got some nice bird action here. That's always nice to hear. Some Tweety birds. There's a somewhat older looking stone. Let's just see what we've got here. 1855 to 1943. Another one to 1909. So, some age there, but still looking like a 20th century place. There's some definite East German graves here on the right. Folks dying 1980s and prior, 1990, but these are folks who lived in East Germany. Let me just swing around here. July 5th, 1951 memorial. Not sure what happened there, but I want to say the large street that runs from Brandenburg Gate is called July 5th. What do we have here? FC Weisskopf, Greta Weisskopf. I'm not sure who they are, but an interesting sculpture. One would have to look that up. Will Schneider. Oh my goodness. I'm just saying something. Friedrich Arkenwald. I'm going to have to hit this on the way back, but this is a pretty cool temple out there. But I want to keep going because I'm getting to the southern end, and so hit it on the way back. Here's a big one. Karl and Elise Lange. 1923 and 35 respectively. Get the snake on top, which often indicates medical, although that almost looks like a turtle, but I guess that's a snake. These are interesting characters here. all worth looking up. You know, this is the kind of thing where you're getting initiated to these people and then look them up afterwards. I had enough of a time just looking up some of the main folks. The little red squirrel action ahead. I'm always drawn to these things. They have such a beautiful color. Yeah, I'm looking at you. So again, there's a lot of uniform graves down here. These are definitely war graves, 39 to 45 on the bottom. And again, we don't know if these are just victims, citizen victims, or what's going on. Helmut Just, 1933 to 1952. Short life. Not even 20. Folks who passed in the 70s there. All right, some intrigue out here on the southern end of this. I kind of had to enter from the northern part. It was a task getting out here. It looks like I'm either upon the Socialist Memorial or it's closed. Something's going on. There's a bunch of workers up ahead, construction workers. I think I'm upon the Socialist Memorial, and whatever that is in the distance is outside the cemetery. Looks like a parking lot. Yeah. Alright, let's see what we got here. This is opened up. Here it is. Here's the Socialist Memorial. I think this is where all of the big names are. Let's find out. You can look some of these up. I'm not going to know most of them. Karl Legien, Emma Uhrer, U-H-R-E-R. That's a cool one. With that profile in marble. Paul Singer has a pretty tall 1917, I think. So somebody right in the thick of the socialist movements. Wengels, Louise Zeitz, Adolf Hoffman, 1930. I don't know who that is, but that's ominous looking. Dr. Adolf Braun. Oh, there we go. That was Jugnaz, J-G-N-A-Z, Auer, A-U-E-R. Died in 1907. Herman Weil. Hermann Müller-Franken, 1931. Hugo Haas, 1919. Alvin Korsten, 24. All right, this is an interesting one here. Liebnicht, 1911. I think that's Karl Liebnicht. I don't see any first name on there. Julia down below for the wife, 1910. But that was somebody who I believe worked with Rosa Luxembourg, who should be here somewhere. And that's a beauty. Look at that relief. Neoclassical for sure, but you know, this kind of handoff on the left from this, what looks almost like a Greek goddess, to this worker getting the laurel wreath handed to him in the handshake, and he's got some kind of a, I'm not sure what he's doing there. He's a steel worker or what it is, but interesting. Fischer, Bruckner, 31. Von Klitsch, 23. Hermann Molkenboer, 27. Friedrich Bartels, 31. Waldeck Manas, 23. Adolf Ritter. So you'll see a lot of these deaths in the teens and the 20s. This is the Weimar era when they were vying for power. Theodor Leipart, 1947. Bunch of folks here along the wall. Most of them died in the 50s, so who knows what's going on here. The end of Stalinism. Okay, so no Rosa Luxembourg. I don't know where she is. That's sort of the main person that I'm looking for. Ulbricht and Luxembourg. It's going to take some hunting. And I haven't even seen signs for her. So they're making it a challenge. Let me give it a pause. Coming up on this temple now. I wonder if I can get in. It doesn't look like it, but I'm going to pull on the door. Oh. That was surprising. So just behind that chapel with the stained glass that I just explored, we have this large building. Let's see what this is about. Huh. Interesting. Nothing written here. But these kind of looks like ram skulls up top. There we go. And I'm guessing there's no getting in there. I think I'm gonna have the same luck pushing this door open as I did the other. No, a little bit of give, but it's not open. I don't know what that is. Maybe that's a columbarium or something with the urns in there, but no signage whatsoever. It's kind of a nice old section in any case. This is sort of the eastern end of the place, or the eastern side. Finally coming upon this monument to revolutionaries of socialism. I have a little informational here, and it's fairly modest, I gotta say. Just has this little pool or bench area. I'm not sure. Looks like it should have some water in it. And it mentions Liebnicht and Rosa, Luxembourg. And it's got the hammer and sickle on it. But the graves are modest. Just 3 rows of graves. And I think I see Rosa Luxembourg here because she's got all the stones. This is probably the most visited grave here, I would guess. It's kind of well known for these graves here. There's Karl Liebnicht on the left. And Rosa Luxembourg on the right. Very modest graves. I guess that's befitting the ideology.